Good afternoon, everybody. Shavua Tov. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, where you come to every Monday to Thursday for your top stories making headlines in Israel. And as always, we are brought to you by Lay of the Land. And just a reminder, if you would like to receive our weekly newsletter, please be in touch with us via our website. Details of that website a little later in the update. And also, if you would like to write for Lay of the Land, we would love to hear from you via our website as well. But let's get to those top stories. And President Herzog departs for the United States tonight. The president is scheduled to meet with President Biden at the White House, and he will address U.S. Congress a little later this week. Now, there are members of the squad, Rashida Tlaib, Ilan Omar, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, Cori Bush, and Jamila Bowman, who have said that they will be boycotting the speech in Congress. Meanwhile, the president is also slated to meet with Vice President Kamala Harris to discuss climate issues, leaders of the American Jewish community and communal organizations, and he will also meet with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres at the United Nations. Now, over the weekend, a Democratic representative by the name of Pramila Jaisad allegedly called Israel a racist state. These comments were made while she was addressing an anti-Israel protest. Now, she has since apologized following widespread condemnation for her comments. And in a statement released earlier today, the joint committees of the Democratic Party released their statement extolling the special relationship between Israel and the United States, and also saying that while they may disagree with certain members of the coalition government, as is democracy, Israel is most definitely not a racist state. And we also heard from Richie Torres, a New York-based congressman, a great friend to Israel, laying out on Twitter exactly why Israel is not a racist state. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Netanyahu, who is reported to have rebuked Israel's ambassador to the US, Michael Herzog, and said to him, according to an unnamed official, that the ambassador was not doing enough to ensure an invitation to the White House for the Prime Minister. Foreign Minister Eli Cohen is in Nairobi, Kenya. He is attending the mid-year meeting of the African Union. The foreign minister has said that he has also been speaking or making normalization contact with representatives from Mali, Niger, and Mauritania. He also said that he had spoken to an unnamed African country with no diplomatic ties to Israel. So, if we're playing a normalization bingo, who is going to be next in joining our increasing circle of peace? Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu gave us quite a scare this weekend when he was hospitalized overnight on Saturday. Now, this follows reports that the Prime Minister did not feel well and had spent the day in the Kinneret, the Sea of Galilee, without a hat and drinking water. Now, Israel, like many countries in the Northern Hemisphere, are enduring a very, very hot heat wave. As you can see, I'm also a little bit frazzled from the heat. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister was kept overnight and released yesterday, and according to reports, his tests are normal. However, he has been discharged with a heart monitor, and there are questions and concerns about why this is the case. And finally, a scheduled burning of a Torah outside the Israeli embassy in Stockholm, Sweden, did not go ahead on Saturday. It was announced on Friday that Syrian activist Ahmad Aloush intended to burn a Torah in protest to the burning of a Quran by a former Iraqi now living in Sweden. The Quran was burned not out of any religious protest, but because the person who burnt it objected to Sweden joining NATO. Alush abandoned his plans to burn the Tanakh or the Torah, saying that all he wanted to do was to draw attention to the fact that, in his opinion, there are limits to the freedom of expression. However, it did raise quite an international outcry, especially from Israel. Israel's president, prime minister, foreign minister, director general of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, chief Ashkenazi rabbi, chairman of the World Zionist Organization, Yaakov Hagoel, ambassador to Sweden, and members of the European Jewish Congress, as well as the World Jewish Congress, and so many others, condemned what would have been a frightening, intolerant, and just downright racist and disrespectful act. We are happy to report that nothing was burned anywhere on Saturday. And can we all just agree that the burning of books, especially religious books, is a practice that should be resigned to history? Meanwhile, this has brought members of the Muslim community and Jewish community in Sweden closer together, as both communities objected to the burning of their holy scriptures. And those are your top stories making headlines. And before I go and stick my head in a fridge, I just want to remind you of where you can find our website at www.layoftheland.online. Our Facebook community is at Lottel's site. Give us a like, a follow if you haven't already. Our YouTube channel is at The Israel Brief. Click on that red subscribe button. Let's grow our community. And we're on Twitter at Lay of the Land, where you can follow us right there. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, and don't forget to join me again tomorrow for your top stories.